All right, everyone. So this is lecture 8, actually. It's not a second part of lecture 7, but this is where we're going to talk about aerobic training for swim. Um, this is going to be very quick. I promise, very quick, because all we have to do is really get you to understand the benefits of aquatic-based exercise. Usually, if we were in person, we would actually be at the pool today, and you would be swimming in the pool, and we would be doing a different swim circuit. Just so you have some different ideas as far as what things you can do for aquatic training. So, biggest things right here when you're looking at pool-based exercise. Okay, number one, the resistance of water is 12 times the level of air resistance. So no matter what, in all different movements while you're in water, you're getting 12 times the resistance. So you can argue that you're always doing some sort of resistance training when you're moving around in water. Big thing, low impact on joints because of the buoyancy of the water. So when you're working with someone who's injured or PT or elderly, like that's why the water is a really good place for you to go, because you don't have to worry about like destroying somebody's joints. So they can still work through squat, they can still work through hinging and lunging and even maybe a little jumping, right? They can still accomplish some of those things intramuscularly without having that impact on their joints, right? When that, if that's a serious issue. It's a balanced body aerobic or total body aerobic exercise because, again, the water is no matter what always around you. So no matter what way you are moving, lower body, upper body, you are under some sort of resistance. It also increases the flexibility through muscle relaxation. So because you're in the water, you can get deeper ranges of motion because there's less tension on the muscle because of the buoyancy. So you can really help somebody improve their quality of life, their mobility, their how they're feeling through that. Another thing is that the heart rate will be typically 17 beats per minute lower while in water because of increased venous return. So because of the pressure on the water compressing on the body, essentially the water is pressing on the veins, and the veins is it's going to increase how fast that blood gets back to the heart. So your heart doesn't have to work as hard to do X thing. So that's why your heart rate's going to be a little bit lower. That is important for you to know because you do have certain target heart rate zones for people. So if they're injured in somehow, but you still want them to get an aerobic stimulus, you might need to put them in a pool, but you have to understand that they're going to have to work a little harder depending on what the task is to make sure that you're compensating for that decrease in heart rate. Okay, couple precautions, right? And this is that worst case scenario type thinking. You got to have a lifeguard present for liability reasons because you are not a lifeguard. So if you are doing something in the pool and somebody has an incident and you can't save them and they die, that's on you, right? So even though it's something where, oh, like this person can definitely swim in a shallow pool. Well, what if they have a heart attack in the pool and you didn't have a lifeguard there? Like that's not something that you are technically able to control, but you still should have had somebody there who technically would be able to take responsibility for that incident. You got to make sure that people use the stairs and the ladders when they're going in and out, right? Even if you're working with athletes, right, they're going to want to jump up and try to get themselves over the edge, and you just got to be careful, right? Because one slip, one fall, someone bashes their head, now they have a concussion. Oh, why does my athlete have a concussion? Oh, well, we wanted to do some low impact total body aerobic exercise in the pool, but now they're, someone's got a lawsuit on you because you didn't make them use the stairs. Again, got to think worst case scenario. And then obviously this one's pretty slippery. Most people don't do it, but just no running, right? You have to kind of enforce that, right? If there's signs around saying no running, then you're probably covered on that one. But you just got to emphasize that stuff because you don't want to be responsible for somebody getting injured just because you're trying to give them a different stimulus as far as training. So the big thing really for aerobic training when it comes to this is why we bring up the aquatic thing, right? And we bring it up because aerobic fitness is something that's going to help someone add years to their life, right? Especially when we're looking at a sedentary population and we're looking at like an elderly population, like improving your cardiovascular health and the function of the heart is something that's going to help you add years to your life. The healthier you are when you're younger, the longer that and healthier that you live later. So for people that have issues that are severely overweight or severely injured, right, we don't want them to have the inability to do anything because they're injured or their joints hurt or whatever the barrier may be, right? And if you have an option where you can say, hey, we have this aquatic aerobic program that you can do, that is something that you can do to help save somebody's life. Okay, so what you just have to understand before you go into something like that is that understand you can get a training stimulus out of that. Just know the heart rate's going to be a little lower, so you have to work them a little bit harder, and know that you can really attack, the flexibility of things and mobility for people because they're in a pool. Okay, so that's all this one is. It's super quick. Most of this was really about you guys getting in the pool yourself and doing a little circuit, but do the activity that is on there, or the activity assignment that's on there, and that'll kind of cover us for this week. Okay. So other than that, have a good one.